Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And even some of the people who starred in Cowboy Bebop on Netflix are admitting that mistakes might have been made.
Yes.
Mistakes were made. We're going to talk about that. The guy who played Jet, sort of musing on what went wrong. Oh boy, where do we start?
Well, I thought it was interesting that, he didn't throw everybody under the bus.
Yeah, he didn't. I gotta wonder if, working on this show, if they kind of started to get the vibe that maybe it wasn't going to go the way they thought it was going to go. I don't know.
Well, I think too, it's like, when you're just yelling about the fanboys and screaming about because it's always fanboys, don't you know? Because it's not sexist, misogynist at all. When you're yelling about that, that's one thing. But when the critics tell you it sucks too, then you can't say everyone, including the critics, are terrible people.
Yeah.
They should, but they don't usually.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, they were, now he actually, I'll be honest, it's Mustafa Shakir. He wasn't like doubling, tripling down on defending the show before it premiered. If I recall correctly, I know, Cho was out there and Daniela Pineda.
Oh, she did not.
Yeah, and she was definitely the most vocal, and frankly, she should have kept her mouth shut the most, I think, of the three leads. But, I'm going to be honest, when it was just, John Cho and Mustafa Shakir, the first 20 minutes of the first episode, I was like, hey, yeah, maybe this isn't too bad. I didn't think he was terrible as Jet. And I think I said that in our review.
You did.
I said that I didn't think he was terrible.
Well, there's one voice that we should have heard from that we didn't, and it could have resolved everything and solved all the problems. The voice of Ein.
Yeah.
The dog that played Ein should have spoke up. I'm sure if the dog had spoken up, it would make sense to all of us.
Why they gender swapped Ein.
Right, maybe it's a neutering situation. We don't know.
Space neutering.
I'm just saying, if the dog had spoken up and had a voice, then, maybe we could have all just, we could have all got along.
I could just see the dog on set looking at the script. He drinking a mochaccino.
A puppuccino.
A puppuccino from, Starbucks, of course. Sitting there reading the script and going like, where is this freaking dog shit? Film this dog shit. I know dog shit, this dog shit. You don't do this. No, stop, people, stop doing it. Anyway, we're going to talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 247,000 subs, almost 248. Thank you for the support. We've been kind of following the Cowboy Bebop situation. And I think there's going to be a lot of finger pointing in the months to come. Unfortunately, Netflix is still moving forward with One Piece. And I actually have less hope for One Piece than I did for Cowboy Bebop because I think that one is going to be harder to convert to live action.
I think we could just sum it all up with what went wrong with you shouldn't do these in live action to begin with. That pretty much fixes it. Just don't do this. Don't take the anime and put it in live action. It's problem solved.
Now, they do get it right occasionally. I know not everybody liked, Battle Angel, but I thought for what it was actually pretty good. I was surprised because I always go in expecting, the worst, but the difference is we had James Cameron, who was a huge fan of the anime and the manga for decades trying to get this movie made. We had a massive budget. I think to pull something off like Cowboy Bebop, I think it could be done, but I don't think these were the right people to do it. And I think they needed a much, much bigger budget. The
problem is, too, I think you aren't going to please anyone because some people argue it was too close to the anime. Some people argue they made too many changes. It was too far removed. So it was never going to please everyone anyway. I mean, it just is not something that was going to translate. You should have just stopped when you were ahead.
Well, what they should have done is they should have made a show about a group of misfits who wanted to film a shot-for-shot remake
That's right.
of Cowboy Bebop anime. Right. Make a show about people making a live-action Cowboy Bebop. Actually, that would have been vastly more entertaining. Make a show about people making a bad live-action version of Cowboy Bebop and then have the drama around dealing with all of the shitty decisions being made.
What were they going to call it? Later Space Cowboy?
There you go. Space Cowboys. Anyway, the critics didn't like it either, so it's not just the haters. This article coming from Bounty in the Comics talking about Mustafa Shakir, who played Jet Blacken, who's black and male.
Yes.
So
it's blackmail.
He's black and male. But he actually mused on Instagram. That's him. See the blue check right there? He said, what a cool opportunity, right? I got to play Jet Black. I'll never not be him, so to speak. That's badass to me. Netflix went balls to the wall for us in order to get it done. They really looked out for us when shit hit the fan. But at the end of the day, business is business, and this was a big ship that needed a lot of fuel. Maybe the quote-unquote haters, he put that in quotes, which I thought was interesting, and the critics got us. Maybe it wasn't as good as we thought. All I know is we got this done under the craziest conditions. I'm proud of what we did. Thank you for dreaming with us. See you, Space Cowboys.
See, that's the thing. You know, I thought it was nice how he handled it. Like, he put haters in quotes. Basically, it's like, you know, I'm really proud of what we did. Basically, the indication is they didn't have everything that they could have had to make it successful, by the sounds of it. Like a budget.
If this were a movie and, you know, casting choices aside, if it were a movie and the director had more love, you know, for the source material and had a much, much bigger budget, they might have been able to pull it off. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a Netflix show.
And I think the casting, I mean, I'm sorry. I just think that they cast Spike too old. John Cho, you know, is too old for the part. And it wasn't, because I'm older too. So, I mean, it's not just like, you know, I'm ageist or something. I just don't think it works.
Spike's late 30s. Or no, I'm sorry, late 20s.
I say late 20s,
Late 20s. At the most, you could get away with somebody in their early 30s, probably. You know, I don't know what to say. It's like mistakes were made. It looked kind of cheap.
The dialogue they gave, you know, for Faye was just awful.
Yeah. And they didn't do it any favors either. I mean, it actually would have been better, I think, in some ways, if they had done a beat for beat remake. Because at least then it'd be like, well, this is literally the source material. But
most part, it seems like they tried to shifted things around.
There were some changes that were like, why did you change this for the sake of changing it? And some things just don't translate into live action. I mean, Ed is a good case for that. Like, I'd be like, look, there's no way we're gonna do her in live action, you know, for an entire season. Like,
oh my God, yes. Given what we saw at the end of the season, I couldn't have done a whole season.
Oh God, no. That actually,
it would hurt. For
me, that was the biggest, like, kick to the teeth, because I'm like, watch the first episode, I'm like, okay, there's some parts that are cringe. Maybe it gets better. And then I saw the clip with Ed, and I'm like, oh God, I'm not even going to get invested in this show, because I know we've got a season 2 with Ed. And Ed does not work in live action. Ed could work in live action, but not that. Not that take on Ed.
No.
You know. Yeah. So it's interesting though. We've got, you know, the writers out there. Here's one of the leads, and I thought it was a very classy way to.
Very classy. I thought so too.
It. I mean, he could have been like, "You bigots," and that's not what he did. He's like, "Hey, we tried. We did the best we could do for whatever reason. It didn't work out. Mistakes were probably made, but we did what we could do. Thanks for giving me the chance." I think that's a very classy way to handle it. Compare it to, again, you know, some of the writers that worked on the show that are out there on Twitter. They're just like, "You bunch of bigots. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You're missing out. We had great things planned."
Well, that's because they're mad. We're out of job now. So are a lot of people. And it's Hollywood. And it's a gig economy. And, you know, what do you expect?
Yeah, my entire life was turned upside down.
Which I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just saying, like, it wasn't just the trolls. I love it how they always blame the trolls. It's like, blame the suits at Netflix who made the decision that the watch time wasn't, and the watch time, the reviews, and the bad PR weren't worth it. It wasn't worth the investment to make another season, you know, especially with how expensive this is for a Netflix show.
And that's what the show that was hitting #1 allegedly, you know, it was, you know, it still wasn't enough.
Well, I think they were looking at the numbers and they were like, yeah, a lot of people were watching the first episode and then they're not coming back for more. So there's definitely, you know, might have logged in a lot of minutes. And plus it was, you know, splashed on the front page of Netflix for how many days. That definitely helps.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
You know, at least getting people there, but keeping them there is, you know, you can lead a horse to water.
Well, that's it. People were coming in and they were checking it out. They might watch so much and they're like, I'm out. You know, they watch an episode or two and they're like, eh.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, if nothing else, Netflix learns a couple, and
they won't. Are you kidding? It's Netflix.
They won't, but I'm hoping that they maybe take some notes if they're going to continue to do this.
I'm hoping Hollywood and the celebrities take some notes from the actor who played Jet to see how you actually handle the situation. It's like, look, if it was just, you know, the haters and the, you know, the man babies and all that, it would have still done well. You know what I mean? But it didn't. And if everybody hated it, how come it's reviewed so low on Rotten Tomatoes by everyone, critics and audience score? So sometimes it's just maybe it's not as successful as you think. And instead of pointing fingers, everybody else say, hey, it is what it is. I'm proud of it, but you don't have to like it, and that's fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, good on him for, staying classy. It's got to be hard. I mean,
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is. But, I mean, as far as the casting goes, I'll say of the three leads, I liked him the best. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the race swap or whatever.
And regardless of what he said now.
Yeah. It could have worked. It didn't come together the way it should have.
No.
So, anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.